who you are, your purpose, and what brought you to ownership and entrepreneurialism specifically in this industry.
As an entrepreneur, right, I built a personal finance company for many, many years, for 18 years.
The biggest mistake you've made along this journey in entrepreneurialism?
I'm always my biggest roadblock. I have a friend, Dustin Heiner. He runs a company and he has this shirt called Successfully Unemployed.
What do you ask yourself in those moments to help you realize?
For me, when I start getting like really overwhelmed is when I have to pause and say, okay, there's a better system here and I'm not seeing it. When I start getting in like my own head and I don't ask for help, I know that I'm in trouble because I get in my vision trap and then I don't ask for help to make that vision a reality. And I've talked about this many times with my parents, right? Oh, she's just like the social butterfly. She's not really great at school. I didn't really think I was smart, to be honest.
Welcome, everybody. Good morning, afternoon, or evening, whatever time it is you're listening. My name is Jill Simons. I am founder and CEO of Savvy Strategic Partners. We are a full-service C-suite, executing vision, increasing business value, and helping founder owners realize freedom. Welcome to Vision Untethered, conversations with inspirational visionary leaders, delving into the true meaning of becoming untethered. Too often, business owners find themselves tethered to and held back by their business. And as a result, the business and the visionary owner are held back. The business can't operate independently of the founder, stifling innovation, expansion, and long-term growth and value and sustainability. We will authentically unpack the biggest mistakes in business, life, and strategies to overcome them. Today, we have the privilege of speaking with a powerhouse in the world of public relations and media strategy, Lauren Cobello, the founder and CEO of Leverage with Media PR. Lauren has built an exceptional career by helping brands and individuals amplify their voices and expand their reach. With her deep expertise in media relations, PR, strategy, and brand storytelling, Lauren is known for turning visions into reality and getting her clients the spotlight they deserve. We can't wait to dive into your journey today, Lauren, learn the secrets behind your success, and uncover how you continue to empower others to leverage the power of media. Welcome to the show. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. That was so nice. Thank you so much. I'm so glad to be here.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you and to dive in. Working with you, I've been excited about this and doing this together for a while. So I'm glad we're finally making it happen.
Sure.
Yeah. So I know a lot of this in terms of your purpose and passion and your vision for what you've built, Leverage with Media, but tell the audience who you are, your purpose, and what brought you to ownership and entrepreneurialism specifically in this industry.
Yeah. So my background is as an entrepreneur, right? I built a personal finance company for many, many years, for 18 years. And I always said to myself, if I could teach people how to personally brand themselves using a book and media, I would be like in heaven. And I said that for many, many years while I was still working and running my personal finance company. And I was a TV personality, on national television, on the Today Show, Good Morning America, Dr. Oz, Rachel Ray, Inside Edition, like all the shows you could possibly think about. And I use those shows to create, a $1 million personal finance brand. And I said, I wish that I could teach people how to do this. And that was really like my passion behind it. And, but I was like too scared to kind of jump from one ship to the other for many years. And I finally sold my personal finance company and started Leverage with Media PR. And my passion is really to help entrepreneurs personally brand themselves through using books to become thought leaders and strategic public relations. And so that's how Leverage with Media PR was built. So very ingrained in the entrepreneurial community. I've been a part of it for many, many years. A lot of us don't trust PR agencies, and there's a reason. And so I kind of bridge that gap, I think, between like being an entrepreneur and being a publicist now and owning a PR agency of like, I feel like I'm like a translator between the two worlds almost.
Totally. Yeah. And helping guide and steward the education and awareness and understanding of that entire world is part of what you and the team truly do, that educational piece of it, and guiding them through what to experience or what to expect in that experience is huge. So specific to book PR, and leveraging books as a tool, excuse me, as a tool for entrepreneurial endeavors and their brands and their presence. How has that, you doing that first and foremost for yourself and the brand of Leverage with Media, how has that impacted and been a part of this journey and the visibility that Leverage and you as a brand have with the books that you've written?
Yeah, I think it's huge. A lot of people hire us because I am an author, because I've written 3 books.
Yeah.
And I've written them in all different ways. There's 3 different ways to publish a book: self-publishing, hybrid, and traditional. And I've done all 3 options. I'm doing my 4th book as well right now. And so I've been through the process that everybody wants to do, and I can coach them on what's the best option for them, what's the best launch strategy for them. And they also can see, like, I've walked the path that they want to go on and use the resources that they want to end up being on. I can teach them things like how to show up on air and on camera from a TV personality perspective. And then how do you frame your brand, to accept those TV appearances? What do you do afterwards? How do you leverage those media appearances to be able to make more money on the back end for your company? I think you have to be able to blend PR, marketing, and strategy together to create a splash and really stand out in this industry. And so really that's what my specialty is in.
Absolutely. So what would you say is the biggest mistake you've made along this journey in entrepreneurialism?
Wanting to do it all alone. I'm always my biggest roadblock. Always. And I think that I've been an entrepreneur for 19 years now. I have a friend, Dustin Heiner. I love him. He runs a company called a conference called Rubicon, and he has this shirt called Successfully Unemployed, and I wear that all the time, and I truly feel that. But I feel like I'm successfully unemployed because I am unemployable. Like I don't think I could work for anybody else because I've always employed myself. But the biggest roadblock for me has always been, and you've been a huge, like, the biggest help for me in realizing this, is I am a visionary to a T. But I have ideas all day long, and me trying to figure out how to get those ideas done has been the hardest thing for me. It's like I'm running up against a wall all the time, and I get so frustrated. So when I was doing my personal finance company, there was a time where we were making almost $1 million a year, and it was at that time that I had an integrator and 2 full-time employees. And then when I fired everybody because I thought, oh, I'm making a lot of money, I can do this myself, my income went to the nosedive because I am not great at all the things. Like I need to sit in the seat where I am good at. And so anytime I try to put myself in seats where I don't thrive, I stop making money. And so I can build things. I'm good enough as a visionary where I do have, some integrator capabilities and systems where I can build things and get them off the ground. But once I start getting in my own way, I've got to stop. I've got to start bringing people in. And you've been like the biggest, most amazing help for me with that, to
thank you.
Realize like I need to get out of my own way and get in my zone of genius. Like stop it, Lauren. And I tell myself all the time, Lauren, stop, get in your lane, and it's that we all have skills, and that's good. Like we need to stay in our zones, our zone of genius.
Exactly. What were some key signs for you? Or what's the question you ask yourself, aside from just saying like, stop? When do you start to notice ahead of time that you're going down that path? And what do you ask yourself in those moments to help you realize if it's in your core genius or not, and differentiating where you're supposed to be and where you thrive?
For me, when I start getting like really overwhelmed is when I have to pause and say, okay, there's a better system here and I'm not seeing it. Right. Yeah. There's a different way and I'm not seeing it here for some reason. So I need to figure out some other way because I'm getting in my way. Like I'm in a hamster wheel of ideas, and I know how to get to where we need to be because I can always see the vision of where we need to be. And when all of those ideas are swirling in my head and I don't know the next steps, that's when I realize like I'm in trouble, right? That I
Yeah.
need to slow down, I need to take a pause, and I need help, because that's definitely where I get in trouble. And then when I start getting in like my own head and I don't ask for help, I know that I'm in trouble, because I get in my vision trap and then I
Hmm.
don't ask for help to make that vision a reality. So that's
Yeah.
kind of how I can see that like I'm going down a bad rabbit hole. And that's when I usually I'm like, okay, Jill, I need help. Like we need to
Hmm.
make that, these things happen, because I'm in my own head
Yeah.
struggling with the visions that I have. I just don't know how to get us there efficiently.
Oh, for sure. For you, what are some root saboteurs? Have you kind of identified what's going on internally in your drives and motives that put you in overdrive in a way that's not productive, right? In a way that's like, okay, I'm in trouble now. Do you know what some of those saboteurs are for you? Those lies we
Yeah.
tell ourselves and beliefs we have?
So for many years, I thought that wanting to have money and be rich was wrong. So I stopped myself when I would hit a certain income level. And I'd be like, I'm fine. I have enough. I don't need to, work hard or get to this certain level. So I would sabotage my own success a lot.
Yeah.
And I think that having to go and dig deep in like I deserve, and it's okay for me to want to have money and to be able to provide things for my kids and be able to have things that are nice for myself. I had to get out of that kind of poverty mentality.
Yeah.
That took me a long time. I really struggle with slowing down and not making impulsive decisions in the past, and it's still something that I struggle with now, which I'm grateful for our financial team and our CFO, Dan.
Yes.
Financial decisions and making rash, impulsive financial purchases is a struggle of mine. And I
Hmm.
find that I do that when I want a quick fix to a problem that I'm dealing with. So if I'm like, okay, I want to get a new client, right? Then maybe I'll sign up for a new program that's going to help me do a new sales funnel, instead of like following up with people or just like sitting still for a minute, right? So I'll react impulsively to solve a problem instead of like sitting still and like talking to people.
Yeah.
So it's been very helpful for me to have a full financial team and to be taken out of the financial seats, because I'm not the best person to be sitting in that seat. So to have my CFO saying, hey, Lauren, like, this month we got to like cut it down on the spending, to have that the spending of the business in the past, in my last business, has always gotten me in trouble, because I would tend to want to buy things to fix my problems, new
Yeah.
programs, new people, new systems, instead of looking within of like, maybe I'm the problem. Maybe I'm the roadblock. Maybe my mental state is the roadblock. Maybe it's not a quick fix of hiring somebody else to fix it when I don't even know what I'm fixing.
Yeah.
So I've had to take a really kind of in-depth look at that.
Yeah, that's powerful. Do you know, going even deeper than that, right? So, what do you think caused that? Whether it was upbringing, belief, just belief system, your origin family? What do you
It's
think caused
actually,
that mindset?
yeah, I actually know exactly where it came from.
Yeah.
So, growing up, I was kind of raised in the like she's the socialite girl, but not very smart. And I've talked about this many times with my parents, right? So I was raised in the, oh, she's just like the social butterfly. She's not really great at school. I didn't really think I was smart, to be honest. Until I got to be, even maybe like 5 years ago, to be honest. Yeah.
Wow.
So like I went and started this personal finance company, and I went through a divorce. During the divorce, during the time of that marriage, I had retired my ex-husband to come and work with me. And I remember feeling like, he worked as an actuary and I was home running my personal finance company. When he quit his job to come and work for the company, he kind of like took it over and was like, this is what we're doing now. And I remember feeling really deflated. I
Yeah.
remember feeling like I built this company and supported you and enough for you to quit your job. And now you're taking it over and telling me I'm not doing it good enough. And that, even though I was running a successful company and on TV all the time, I felt very deflated in that moment. And it took me many, 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 many years to rebuild my self confidence, to be able to say, like, no, like, I know what I'm doing. I can rebuild myself. And so I had a lot of self-confidence issues. I
Yeah.
had trauma from that situation, and there were many other situations that had built up, but I didn't trust my own intuition anymore. I didn't trust my own business savviness. I didn't trust my own gut. And it took me many years to rebuild that trust in myself.
Yeah.
And so I think that when I trust my own intuition of, no, this is the right decision, and I start learning all of the processes and the systems in the company before I hire it out, it's not like a quick fix anymore. It's not like a band-aid on something. It's like, I know what our systems are, what we're doing, and now we can go hire for that. But before it was like, I just wanted somebody to fix it because I didn't have faith in myself to fix it, if that makes sense.
Wow. Yeah, that does. And then, I mean, obviously a painful journey too of and healing required from then alleviating the people in your life that were taking that from you, right?
Yep.
Do your parents know that?
Yeah, they do. And we've talked about it many times, and they're like, well, we didn't mean to say it that way. Like, so they definitely, and they're the most proud. They're so proud of me. You know, my dad is my number one fan. I talk business with him all the time. He's an entrepreneur, you know, has started many companies. I don't hold it against them, but I just, you know, as a child, I'm very careful of like how I label my children, right? And try not to label them and try to always say good things about them and not put them in a box. But like it affected me growing up of me thinking like, oh, I'm just not that good at school, or I'm just not that smart. Like, you know, I just remember, I remember those types of situations. And so to be able to step into my zone of genius also, and like, I think as entrepreneurs, there's so many things that we can be doing that we can beat ourselves up of like, well, geez, like I suck. Like I'm not good at this. I'm not really helped me by taking, you know, how we like take the DISC personalities and the DISC test and the 16 personalities, by taking those and seeing like, okay, this is where I'm really good. Like I am a very good quick start, very low follow through. So I can give you the ideas, but I have so many notebooks of ideas. I need somebody like you to put them into action, right? Knowing that about myself will help not only me, but the entire company. So if we all know each other's strengths.
Yeah. Harness your strengths. Yeah. The amount of time I think we spend, I mean, and it's a natural transition in building a business to have to do all the things and do a lot of the things, at least initially, that are not in our strength, but knowing when we can let go of those and no longer put energy toward the things that we're not as strong in, and harness and really, you know, go full force on the things that we are, and ensure you build a team that balances and is in complement to one another, of where everyone's strengths can shine.
It's so true, because even before you came on as my COO, I had talked to a bunch of coaching companies who were like, oh, you don't need a fractional COO. You just need like to know the systems and like set them up. And I kept on thinking about myself is I cannot add one more thing to my plate.
Right.
Like I'm going to spend more money on coaching and I'm not going to do anything. I'll have all the ideas, but I'm not going to do a darn thing with this stuff. I just knew based on my personality that like that was not the right move, that I needed an integrator that would do the things that were inside of my brain. And so by knowing that, I don't beat myself up. I just know my skill set and can act in that. So taking those really like gave me the freedom to not be like, oh my gosh, I suck, but just to be like, I do suck in these. And that's just like how I'm like who I am. And that's like, it's not because I'm a terrible person. It's just like my personality. Like, it's just
and how we're wired, right? Like
how I'm wired.
We can't all be all the things in all the areas, right? Like it's just not how it works.
Right. So, exactly.
Yeah. That's interesting that was coaching perspective from some that you spoke with, because I think that lie is what is continually breeding this mindset that we have to do it all ourselves, or we're wrong or shamed to need or want. Maybe it's not even a need. Maybe you don't even want to do those things, and that's okay. Right? There's plenty. I think for us to take the word need out of our vocabulary is hugely empowering. Because back to what you were saying in terms of, I have enough, right? We can be shamed or led to believe, and this lie breeds that you should be able to do it all, right? Like, oh, you've got this, you can handle it. Sure, we could do those things. What if we don't want to? What if we don't thrive there? What if you go to bed at night just exhausted, you're burnt out because you've been told, or you're continually telling yourself, you're supposed to be strong enough to handle it all. And that continually festers and breeds this culture in the entrepreneurial world that we're not strong business owners if we're asking for help, if we're
Mhm.
building the strength in a team, and it's the exact opposite. So
It's
it takes that
it's so
strength.
true.
Yeah, yeah. So how can business owners, speaking to systemization and process and follow through, right? Why I'm here, why you've built an amazing team equipped around you. How can business owners create systems, processes that allow their business to operate independently of their constant oversight?
Well, I think it starts with team culture, right? To me, culture is the most important. The culture fit of the people that I
Yeah.
bring on. Are they a good fit for the culture of our team? Are they people that will work independently? I'm not a babysitter. So like
Mm,
I want to hire people that have a great love for what they do so that the systems that we do set up, they're going to follow because they want to, because they want to give back, because they want to see the company grow, because they want to see results for our clients. To me,
mm,
that's step one. And I think I went wrong in hiring at first because I didn't look for culture fit first. I was looking for
mm.
experience first. And that caused some ripples in employment, early on. But
Yeah.
since we've been really focusing on our first interviews with people on culture fit, it's made it a
Mm,
lot easier for second interviews, and so on to bring in the right culture. So once you have the right culture fit and then setting up the systems, it's one of the first things we did was come up with like our core process. What is our company? What is the core process that we follow?
right.
And then from there setting up, and I think that was like the hardest process of like, oh my gosh, getting everything on paper, or in a Google Doc, and like everybody follows that. And
Yeah.
then from there, what are the core values? What does our team stand for? And having everything systematized in an easily findable way. But then also realizing it takes time. Like, we're still creating systems months and months and months later, and it's like peeling off an onion, and it freaking sucks. It just, those first 3 months that we worked together, I would just go home and I would just be like, oh, I hated it every day
Brutal.
of us doing it. It's brutal.
I
I think
know.
I tried to fire you like 3 times. I'm like, I'm done. I'm out of here. I'm not doing this anymore.
I feel like it
You
needs
know,
to go
but
in my early conversations in the future of like, get
you
ready.
do.
This is going to be painful, right?
It's
Like
like,
it's not very fun at first. I'll
no, it's
try to be
terrible.
positive and make it as fun as possible, but you're going to hate
No,
it. You're going to
no,
hate me trying to pull everything out of your brain and into a format that the team can operate. You're going to hate this. And you're
it's
going to want to turn
absolutely
back.
terrible. No, it's absolutely terrible. And I think that that's something that every visionary needs to understand,
Hmm.
is that if you're going to try to systematize your business, it's like somebody pulling your guts out and your brain out of your head because they're making you do things that you don't like to do every day.
Yeah.
But if you want to go to the next level of your business, you have to do it. Otherwise, you're constantly going to be the roadblock in your company. And I knew
Yeah.
that bringing you in was going to be that road, like it was going to get me out of the way. And if I didn't do that, I was always going to be the roadblock in our growth. Like I knew that we were going to be stunted
Yeah. You're
because I was
tethered.
the problem.
The business
Yeah.
is tethered and you're stuck to it. You can't grow. You're not
Mm-hmm.
professionally developing and shining.
Yep.
And the company is held back. The company's tethered by you, right?
Yep.
And it's such a crazy conundrum. So, what would you say then to entrepreneurs who are struggling to let go and trust their teams? What
Yeah.
advice would you give them, without them
I,
compromising their vision?
I would say that if I would ask them if they want to grow, what
Hmm.
are they willing to give up in order to grow their company? Are they willing to give
Yeah.
up a little bit of control and ego in order to grow? If
Yeah.
they are, then you can do it. If you are not and you want to be a slave to your business the rest of your life, then hold on to it and it will bring you down, right? I know a business owner who is struggling right now with her
Hmm.
business, and she said, well, I just don't want systems because I want everything to flow organically. But she is flowing organically right into the ground, and I'm watching it. And I'm like, that's your choice. I mean, that's a choice, right?
Hmm.
Like I've been in that position where I'm like holding on to everything.
Yeah.
And people like that are so difficult to work for because you don't know what's going on. Like, and I even remember when we introduced 90 and we were going to start doing all of these weekly meetings with my team, and I was like,
Hmm.
oh, they're going to hate it. Like, another meeting, and they love it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, geez, I was like way wrong. Like I was
Yeah.
scared to like introduce another team meeting to them, but they look forward
Hmm.
to that meeting every single week because it
Yeah.
brings transparency and they know where they're at. And I've
Yeah.
just been wrong so many times. And
Yeah.
to think about where we were 6 months ago to where we are now, what have we hired? It'll be like 5 new people,
Yep.
doubled revenue, doubled
Yeah.
monthly revenue, doubled client load in like 6 months.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Huge growth.
huge. And
And
I'm working less
you're working
and
less
making
and
more
you're
money.
and you deserve it and you earned it and you worked so hard and you continually work so hard. And it's beautiful to see you more and more in that zone of genius, being waving that visionary flag, proud of it, proud of who
Mm-hmm.
you are, proud of the ideas that you bring, proud to show up when everyone else is like, oh God, here we go.
Yep.
Like, but they're the team, it's amazing to see. I know I was nervous. I'm always nervous those initial meetings with teams because it's usually 50-50, or you've got your few bad apples that are like, oh my God, like really? You can tell they don't want to be there. And those just point out to me, and those just expose like the culture. And it's evident in what we've been able to build in the right culture when we have a team that is, they are engaged, they're focused, they come out of those positive, and we've
Mm-hmm.
grown stronger through them. And nobody, even in the initial couple weeks, nobody was grouchy about it or, skeptical. They were all bought
No.
in. And that buy-in from the get-go is like, it's because of the people. It's because of who you are and how you portray that and exemplify that and lead by example. So,
Well, thank
yeah.
you. I mean,
Yeah.
I love our team and they're just
They're so
dynamic
fun. So
rock
fun.
stars.
I know.
Rock
So
stars.
talented.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel so blessed that I get to enjoy the people that I work with, and that's the culture fit, right? Is
Mm-hmm.
we want to enjoy, especially in the PR industry, like
Yeah.
typically very man dominated, working 80 hours a week, unhealthy expectations. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
very dog eat dog, toxic. And we
Yeah.
don't deserve that. You know, so
No.
to be able to
And they're
provide an
all,
amazing working
yeah.
community for amazing people, it's like the greatest gift to me to give back to some amazing people.
Yeah. Oh, well, thank you so much for your
Yeah.
open heart and your leadership, just being who you are. And thank you, everyone, for listening to our show. If you'd like to learn more about our amazing guest, the powerhouse team of PR experts at Leverage with Media PR, please visit their website, leveragewithmedia.com.